Hi friends, I decided to do social commentary today. I'm going to ask a question because I basically have been on social media and I've been noticing people talking about charity songs. I'm somebody who went to college and studied social impact, so it's ringing around in my head. So I started wondering, are charity songs actually dead? Are they rest in peace gone? Is that it? Really? There's no more We Are the World or anything like that? So, well, for some it does seem it's dead. It seems like everyone's still looking back to the 1980s, to We Are the World, and that feeling that came out of Hands Across America, and seeing that as much more improved arts than contemporary times. However, my initial thoughts were, well, actually, We Are the World and that kind of thing couldn't work today. Those are the initial thoughts. Because basically right now we're in a time that maybe lots of people aren't really in a giving mood. The times are darker. People are sheltering themselves, feeling a little more insecure. We're in these darker times, so giving and anything free seems to have sort of like a negative connotation. It means something dreadful, like finding yourself face down in the trunk of a car, dreadful, like yikes, we might die, dreadful. Then the feeling of charity might also offend lately, so many people, they can't get past a gridlock idea of who's going to pay for it. Who's going to pay for it? Is it me, my taxes? You're asking me to take on the burden? It's a burden. Maybe it was a burden then, and maybe they were able to overcome it, though, I started thinking. There are a lot of assumptions here. So, but is it really a better look to be sitting in a fancy house someplace, hiding fortunes, rather than getting out there and putting out fires, taking care of business, making good happen? So, but if rich people, let's say, that's again, it's a pretty general statement, and populist politicians and their supporters are seeing giving as something like terrible, something bad, then how does one start believing in the power of music to heal? So, well, it made me wonder, are charity songs actually dead? Is Live Aid, Band Aid, We Are the World on the road to slow fade? Is it a slow fade? Apparently not, actually, it turns out, because there is the very first charity film is coming out of India in August this month, at the end of this month, very soon actually. It's called, I hope I'm pronouncing it correctly, Kanal Neer, and it releases August 30th, and it's vying for Best Picture in the Oscar category. It's a charity film. Proceeds are going to go to the rehab of landless people and women's empowerment programs. So those sensitive issues will be handled in the film story itself. Also here in the Bay Area where I live, Bay Area musicians like Fantastic Negrito, Stone Foxes, Tim Bloom of Mother Hips, and others are doing a charity album called Blanket for the Homeless. That might not be in USA Today or CNN or anything close to getting national publicity, but there's something. There's also Laverne Cox, who is famous worldwide. She just cracked the Billboard Top 10 with her charity dance remix song, and it benefits the Transgender Law Center. There's Meghan Trainor and Selena Gomez and others who are working on ABC with We Day, W-E Day, and that's a charity that helps child labor, gets them clean, clear water, helps with poverty issues, builds them schools. Also, there's things like Railapalooza, which has more localized bands, but that's going on. There's also someone famous, Lana Del Rey, who just wrote the song Looking for America, 48 hours after the two mass shootings in El Paso, Texas, and Dayton, Ohio. And all the proceeds from that are going to be donated to charities supporting the victims of these shootings. There's looking back at history horror flick. It's called Us, and it's by Jordan Peele, and it's breaking box office records. It takes people back to 1986 and the impression that people who saw that Hands Across America thing happen, it didn't inspire everyone the same way. I mean, there's definitely different ways to get inspired, and in that film, for example, even though for many it was very amazing, Americans were holding hands in a chain and they raised a lot of money for homelessness and hunger, Esquire magazine says that that event played a substantial role in this horror flick, and in fact that it points out one of the points of the film is that it points out how people often actually look away from social ills in this country, even though there are huge events like Hands Across America bringing attention to them. So there's that. Also, Songs for Good Causes was an article topic in Rolling Stone recently, in November actually last year. And in October, Rolling Stone reported that Josh Groban, Lin-Manuel Miranda, and Idina Menzel are going to be joining in a charity children's record for separated families at the border. So anyway, there's more. The list goes on, actually. There are significant charity albums, significant charity events, significant charity films being made. So maybe previous generations could look more kindly towards efforts, or look a little further and update their CD collections to stop seeing only their generation as producing charity-oriented art. It's out there. People have been doing socially responsible businesses for years now, and in fact, it's pretty much a mainstay in America, at least where I live. So maybe it's not stadium-sized rock of the 80s. 80s was big hair, big picture acts, big sound, big everything, and the trends were different. Now I don't think the big hair, the big stadium rock is the only thing happening, and so there are charitable things going on, and despite the impression, as I shared with you, of darker times today and that people may prefer to take rather than give, there are givers. So there is some wonderful things to think about, and I'm glad that it's happening. Take care.